what will happen with the officer if you delete the division from Phantom?
Well, then they would be
Yeah, they
deleted,
will just be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the officer doesn't stay around even if you delete the division. So if you maybe have a division with a really good officer and you want them to be a general, you might want to do this rather sooner or later. Especially with encirclements that may occur, you might lose that officer to an unfortunate encirclement. I thought while we're showing off our little setup here, we can take a look into divisional command.
Yes.
So let's talk a little about what that is.
So the divisional command is a well, basically it is commanders that are attached to your ground units. So if we look here in the officer core under officers, here are all of your so-called field officers. And these are all attached to your units on the map, so you can, for instance, like, okay, he's commanding that unit, he's commanding that unit, and he's commanding that unit. And these commanders, if you open up here, here's a sort of history page for what this specific unit and commander has done. So you can, for instance, track things like, well, casualties taken and how much so-called officer experience this unit has earned. And depending on how much experience the field commander has received while commanding this unit, the slightly better he's gonna be if you then later on promote him as a general. So just for the sake of showing that off, I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of command power and can go in here. And do you want to promote this guy as a field officer? Yes. And there he is now. Now he's a general.
No, it's actual general.
Yes.
From the little field officer to a general.
So this is to create a nice little thing where you can okay, if you have a favorite unit and a favorite field commander, you can now promote that character all the way to the top.
Yeah. And I want to ask, how is this impactful on the gameplay?
Well, a little bit, because I'm gonna try to show that off a little bit later, but we also, these field officers can get like medals attached to them depending on various things that they have achieved during their combat experience. And these medals give small buffs, but they're not really meant to be super impactful. Yeah. It is more like a late game political power.
You say it's a smaller, minor improvement to the division.
Yeah.
But not large enough to make it perhaps unstoppable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just I want to take that time to just tell you guys in chat that feel free to ask questions regarding what we're looking at right now. For example, historical Ethiopia and divisional command, as we're happy to answer.
Yes, and can also start to cover another feature that we've been working on for the new nations, which is the balance of power.
Yes.
And the balance of power is something that is supposed to add as an extra flavorful layer to internal conflicts. Now, bear in mind that this is not really tied to your political allegiances. It is supposed to serve as a sort of like extra layer that, okay, well, within the ruling party right now, is there like, do you want to lean more towards this faction or that faction?
Yeah. And another look on how you can have government works in the
Yeah, so to show this off here, and also bear in mind, it's not going to be Pink Cat versus Pink Cat. That is just work in progress. Yes. So here for Ethiopia, we have the Mesophit side and the Mekwan. Well, butchering the names here a little bit. I apologize. But depending on which part you lean towards, you get some tiny bit of bonuses here. So, and here you can add various other flavorful things to, for instance, here, one of the options you can take here as Ethiopia is to, by moving 5% to our current side that we're leaning to, the Mesophyte, we're gonna recruit a new general and get a new infantry division. So sort of like, okay, we're gonna recruit an old general, this guy here. And also, bear in mind, this character has not gotten his right portrait yet, so it's not gonna be Mr. Phantom Cap Man.
Yeah, there's still a lot of placeholders, especially on the art session currently. Seems like a good idea to rally around our Emperor.
Yes.
Now, I believe there's 2 paths here we can take.
Yeah. Historically, we're gonna go down the path which brings us into exile in the UK. But if you do want to try to stand on your own feet and take on the Italians by yourself, then this path right here is what you're supposed to go down. The Emperor stays.
So perhaps that is what we will be going.
No, actually not.
Actually not?
Actually not, because we will be taking this one, boarding the train.
Okay.
Which starts the process of looking for a host country to go into exile for. And you actually have the options of either going to Germany, UK, Sweden, or Japan.
That's actually pretty interesting options there. I didn't actually expect Sweden to be one of them. It's pretty
Yes, you wouldn't expect that, but Ethiopia actually had some interesting ties tied to Sweden. A lot of like the Swedish Red Cross was very active down in Ethiopia during the conflict.
Okay.
And also a little quick trivia when we're in on small interesting things. One of the advisors here, Wieb Pasha, was actually an ex-Ottoman Empire general who, after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, ended up in Ethiopia.
That's actually really
interesting. And served as like on their military staff. So, if you do want to know more about the Italo-Ethiopian war, then I do urge you to read up on it, because it's quite more interesting than
most people think.
Yeah.
Right. I do also like that he has entrenchment bonus as a advisor, which with the Ottomans was quite interesting. Their entrenchment lines.
Right, the United Kingdom accepts our requests to go into exile. So now we have gotten the assurance that we will be going to the UK. But before that can take effect, we need to initiate
Perhaps we should board the train as well.
Yeah, exactly.
As there is no teleportation.
Exactly, and historically there only was one railway in and out of Ethiopia, which was from Addis Ababa to Djibouti.
Yeah.
And also show off a little bit thingy with the balance of power that is useful for Ethiopia. This faction that we're leaning mostly towards here, as you can see here, it gives some few bonuses to division defense and speed and attack. So for the purpose of the for the duration of the Italo-Ethiopian war, it is kind of helpful to try to lean more towards that. So I will start here. No, this one here. So now we have a big changes to the balance of power can either be instant or over time. So what I have initiated here is that this will slowly start ticking towards the left side here, and eventually, there you saw. I've unlocked these buffs here.
And in each direction there are different buffs, right?
Yeah.
Also, a little follow-up questions. What will happen with the officer if you delete the division from Phantom?
Well, then they would be deleted,
they would just be gone.
Yeah,
the officer doesn't stay around even if you delete the division. So if you maybe have a division with a really good officer and you want them to be a general, you might want to do this rather sooner or later. Especially with encirclements that may occur, you might lose that officer to an unfortunate encirclement. Actually, just consider from John, what nations have balance of power? So currently, the nations that have balance of power will be Ethiopia, Switzerland, and Italy.
Yes.
All the 3 countries that are being updated in by blood alone.
But this is also supposed to be a feature that in the future it would be possible to, like, new nations that we make content for would maybe get a balance of power.
Yes. It's a really fun mechanic, and it's definitely implementable to other countries in the future.
Mm-hmm.
As I know they give a lot of debuffs towards Italy with sanctions, but is there a way to completely stop it?
Yes, there is actually here.
Ah, there.
Yeah, then you manage to get enough support that you get the League of Nations to demand Italy to stop the war. However, then it's gonna be a white peace.
Yes, a white piece.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, back to...
Everyone back to their corners.
Yeah, exactly. However, if you do go down the path where you decide like, no, darn it, we're gonna stand on our own feet and take this fight ourselves, then you would be able to try to...
Take back the... Well, not take back, sadly, but take the coast.
Yeah.
Which
You will
would...
be able to do the... like the reverse Uno card, like,
No,
I'm
yeah.
invading you.
Yeah, I'm invading you now. Yeah, and if you're able to take the coastline, that will make it significantly harder if Italy ever wants to try again.
Yeah. Right. So, for the sake of the stream, I'll start pulling back so we can actually see when we're going into exile.
Yeah, see how it looks a little bit when we go into exile.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
See here. Well, it seems that even if we pull back, the Italians don't seem that eager to push right now.
Well, they're probably...
a little bit too many mountains there in between.
A lot of supply issues as well, which historically they did as well. It's not really prime highway country.
Maybe they should take a book out of, I believe, Hannibal from Carthage. It wasn't that little there. There we go, we have capitulated.
Yes, but it is not over for us just yet.
5
We've gone
minutes.
into exile right now. So, now it is our job to try to take the fight to the Italians still, but while in exile. So, yes. So what we're gonna try to do now is gather support from UK, so that we... Right. We'll be wrapping things up now, but yeah. So now you're taking the fight to the Italians, but you need to get support from the UK, so that then eventually you can actually get them to take on the Italians to try to reclaim your land.
I do like that. What better way to gather legitimacy in UK by throwing a lavish party? That's of course how you gather legitimacy there.
Yes.
And it's really fun because you can continue doing focuses and going down, and if I believe you press that button in the middle there with legitimacy, there you go, we can see a little bit more about the reinstating, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. But this
was previously.
Yeah, this is an old feature. However, we have reworked it a little bit, because usually the government in exile button used to be where the balance of power was.
Yeah.
But for the sake of space, we then sort of merged the exiled info here into that button. So now the balance of power is here.
Yeah, and I was trusting why is the war not over? Yeah, because we boarded the train with focuses. We sought safe haven in the UK, which means currently, as long as we don't fall completely out of favor, we will stay safe in UK, and Italy won't be able to harm us unless UK capitulates.
Yes, and also unless Italy would be able to create a collaboration government.
Great.
Here.
Well,
if they manage to get enough compliance here, then they can sort of like, well, we don't exist anymore. Because we are no longer, quote-unquote, the official Ethiopia, because we don't have enough support.
Yeah, you're no longer the official Ethiopia. We're the real Ethiopia.
Yeah.
A little bit of that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, a little bit. And I do think that's pretty much...
Yeah, that's actually it for this little section. We actually have a little more segment right after.
Yeah, unless there is some particular questions.
I don't see anyone right now, but thank you so much for joining in on the stream. I appreciate you covering a little bit about Ethiopia and Divisional Command and also Balance of Power. And we will be right back with Matthew, the tech lead, to talk about more performance and tech-related things.